So Emory, your character in this film has a very specific characterization, I would call it. And I feel like there must be some sort of inspiration for finding that kind of guy. Where did you point to, or where did you look to kind of craft that voice?
Well, initially it was just in the text. I just felt that was how he spoke, and I felt it was in the text. It wasn't like something that I pulled away from.
What was in the text specifically that
just
you
the word, the lines, like, "What up, dog?" Things like that. And then I grew up with people who spoke like that. I played baseball with kids who spoke like that. And I just understood the rhythm of that,
Where do you think those people come from, or how that kind of develops? Because your character, compared to your dad, Bradley Cooper's character, so different. I'm kind of curious from, in your mind, where that develops from and where a character like that would come from.
You mean AJ?
Yeah. I guess
Well, AJ's from Troy, in New York. It's a town right next to Schenectady. And the thing about Troy is it's very interesting because, my character comes from a middle class background, but Troy, it has its seedier areas. So a character like AJ, even though he did live in a middle class home, could very easily, and I think did, go to those seedier areas and become one with those streets.
Did you end up going to any of these towns? Because it seems like it was filmed around these real places.
I didn't get to go to Troy. I spent a week in Schenectady with Dane DeHaan. I wanted to go to Troy, but I didn't get to. I can't drive, so I should have gone. I should have gone earlier. Your
parents would not take you to Troy.
My parents? In pre-production, you gotta be your own man, dude. You can't be, "Ma, drive me to Troy."
Why couldn't you find a ride to Troy? Dane DeHaan would not drive you to Troy. No, I don't.
He could have. We were focusing on other things at that point.
So what'd you get from living or being in that town with Dane?
There's a very street-y thing about Schenectady, and it made sense. Certain things made sense, how these characters could feel a certain way. In this locker room scene, the lunchroom scene, I said to him, "Tell me what you guys do for fun around here," and I say, "And don't say a mall," because I knew immediately from hanging out with him that, I felt like that's where all the kids went to have fun, was to the mall,
It's true to life. And I mean, you get roughhoused a little bit in this movie.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit. I'm curious.
No, I do. It was my fault.
You deserved it. But Derrick's approach to making movies seems very intense and very realistic. Mm-hmm. So I'd imagine that when things get rough, they might get actually pretty rough, and he just kind of lets it roll. Is that the case?
That was the case. I was also game for that. I remember we do this scene where these cops were taking me down, and the AD said to me, "Listen, if they're going too hard, tell me." And I was like, "If you tell them to let up at all, I will egg him on to go further." I like working like that. That's you have to be prepared to go to the fullest depths, physically, emotionally, on every film. There was one take of a scene that's it's not actually in the final cut, but we were doing this scene between me and Dane, and it wasn't looking real, so I told him to hit me. So he hit me in the back of the head. You gotta go there.